Hello everyone, welcome back with me, Afiatun Rohasana. I'm an English literature student of Respati University, Yogyakarta. In this section, I'm going to continue my argumentative video. It is on the previous. The relevant is that actually this is a peer debate assignment. Like I said, I'm in the affirmative on the topic. This host believes Gen Z is weaker than previous generation. My peer friend is in the opposite, so right now we have to counter each other's argument. That's long explanation short, let's get started. We are arguing onto a perception said Gen Z is a weak young generation, right? And you argue that it isn't true for several reasons, like Gen Z is more skillful with technology, their independence, education is the key of demographic bonuses, and about mental health awareness. The question come up from me is, do all of those factors are valid to conclude that Gen Z isn't probably weaker generation? Let me break down this out. First point is about Gen Z digital skills. From this statement, so the premise is that Gen Z has more advantages than previous generation because of their familiarity with technology and social media. Yes, I agree that Gen Z the actual native in this technology era. On this statement, you want to say Gen Z isn't weak because they more likely to have more ability on digital skill, right? Quoted from Salesforce research on Global Digital Skills Index in 2022, only 32% of this digital native generation feels equipped with the resources to learn the digital skills needed to thrive in the current or future workforce. They asked 23,000 workers across 19 countries about preparedness, access to learning resources, digital skills, and participation in training. These latest findings highlight data from workers born between 1997 and 2002 and show that, in contrast with the surprising lack of digital readiness, Gen Z is actively seeking out education and training opportunities to conquer these technical subjects. The research also indicates that so capitalize on untapped Gen Z talents, business must prioritize training and re-evaluate traditional education requirements on resumes. From these things, we can say digital skills are not necessarily an advantage, but rather a necessity in the modern world. Technology and social media are constantly requiring Gen Z to adapt and learn new tools and platforms. Moreover, Gen Z reliance on technology and social media may impair their interpersonal and communication skill, as well as their critical thinking and creativity. Second point is about Gen Z individual independence. Your argument is based on the premise that Gen Z individuals are independent and self-reliant, and that is a positive quality that sets them apart from other generations. Something we must consider is Gen Z's independence is not always a positive trait, but rather a coping mechanism in a complex and uncertain world. What is coping mechanism? Some coping mechanisms of Gen Z are therapy and mindfulness. It's like Gen Z is more open to seeking professional help for their mental health issues. And then social media and online communities, leisure and hobbies, assertiveness and advocacy. According to some research, Gen Z independence is partly a result of their Generation X parents who raised them to be self-reliant and able to figure things out for themselves. Quoted from Stanford News on 2022, it is about research from a Stanford scholar, Roberta Katz. In short, it being said that Gen Z also face many challenges and uncertainties in their life, such as the global financial crisis, the COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, and social unrest. These events may have shaped Gen Z worldview and made them more anxious, mindful, and pragmatic about their future. Ted said, Gen Z is typically a self-driver who deeply cares about others, strives for a diverse community, is highly collaborative and social, values flexibility, relevance, pragmatic attitude, etc. Therefore, Gen Z independence, as you assume at the beginning, it may not valid for those reasons. Although teamwork is still an important skill which everybody has on and master it. Third, it's about Gen Z education. Your statement based on the premise that Gen Z individuals are superior to the other generation because of their education, skills, and technology proficiency. However, this premise may not be valid for several reasons, such as first, the quality and relevance of education. You can read this article news titled Unleashing the Potential of Generation Z, Harnessing Strengths and Overcoming Challenges. In short, they explain that Gen Z may face more challenges and changes in education system than previous generation, such as the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, the rising cost of tuition, the mismatch between skills and job, and the need for lifelong learning, so encounter more competition and pressure from their peers and employers, as well as more uncertainty and complexity in their future of work. Second factor is the diversity and inequality of Gen Z. We all know that Gen Z is not a homogeneous group, but a diverse and an equal one. They have different backgrounds, experience, opportunities, and barriers, depending on their socio-economic status, race, gender, location, and other factors. They may not have equal access to quality education, skill development, technology resources, which may affect their outcomes and prospects. Therefore, it is not easy to validate your statement that Gen Z individuals are not weak because of their education, skills, and technology, because Gen Z education is not always a guarantee of quality success, but rather a reflection of their competitive and uncertainty environment they face. Fourth, about Gen Z is the key of demographic bonuses. Your argument is based on the premise that Gen Z contributes to the demographic bonus in various countries, and that is a positive factor that indicates their strength and potential. However, this argument may not valid since Gen Z's demographic bonus is not always a benefit, but rather a burden in some countries. The demographic bonus depends on the quality and productivity of the working age population, as well as the availability and accessibility of education, health, and unemployment opportunities. Reported from Kompas.com titled Indonesia's Demographic Bonus to Peak in 2037. It conducted result of interview with Ateng Hartono, Deputy of the Social Statistics Department, BPS, said that an Indonesian population at its prime productive years gives the nation an opportunity to improve national welfare and livelihoods. Demographic bonus as both nations' economics were at critical juncture, thus their government could not take advantage of the situation. Further, he said, even with Indonesia's demographic bonus expected to peak in 2037, the country could face a similar fate as Brazil and South Africa due to coronavirus pandemic. Many countries, especially in the developing world, face challenges in providing these essential services and resources for their growing youth population. Ateng said that Brazil and South Africa were examples of two countries who missed out on, and for the solution, He said, to take advantage of the demographic bonus, there must be cooperation from all levels of society and related institutions. For those explanations, we can say demographical bonus can lead to social and economic problems such as poverty and inequality, unemployment, crime, and violence if every stakeholder like government and all citizens don't prepare enough to handle the phenomenon. Moreover, Gen Z's demographic bonus may not last long as the fertility rates decline and the aging population increases. This will create a new dependency ratio, where the working age population will have to support the elderly population. Fifth is about Gen Z related to mental health awareness. Gen Z mental health awareness is not always a strength, but rather a weakness in some aspects. They are more likely to self-diagnose, self-medicate, and self-harm than previous generation. Quoted from American Psychological Association on the report, Gen Z more likely to report mental health concerns. The APA survey found out some stressor concern among the Americans. First, mass shootings are significant source of stress, about 75% of Gen Z. Second, Gen Z members are also more stressed than adults overall about the other issue in the news such as the separation and deportation of immigrant and migrant families. About 57% of Gen Z versus 45% of all adults. Additional stressors reported by Gen Z are bullying or not getting along with others is around 35% and personal debt about 33% and many more other stressors. Arthur C. Evans Jr., PhD, APS Chief Executive Officer, stated that current events are clearly stressful for everyone in the country, but young people are really feeling the impact of issues in the news, particularly those issues they may feel beyond their control. He also stated, at the same time, the high percentage of the Gen Z reporting fair or poor mental health could be an indicator that they are more aware of and accepting of mental health issues. Their openness to mental health topics represent an opportunity to start discussion about managing their stress, no matter the causes. From those things, Gen Z are reported more prone to anxiety, depression, and distress than any other age group. Gen Z easy access to information and technology doesn't necessarily help them to cope with their mental health challenges, but rather exposes them to more stressors such as social media pressure, cyberbullying, misinformation, and misinformation. Gen Z's concern and advocacy for mental health issues may not translate into effective action or support, but rather into stigma, discrimination, or isolation. In conclusion, your argument about Gen Z that are not weak because all of those reasons doesn't make them stronger and superior to previous generation, but rather more likely vulnerable and reflect the challenges and opportunity of the digital era. And this is the end of this video. For all of the ups and downs, I really open for the criticism and opinion. Thank you very much.